Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Wired Nerdy Podcast Retro Game Reviews. My name is Doug, and today we're continuing our look into the Strike series with Soviet Strike. It's a special one for me because I've put so many hours into it, and I have so many fond memories and exciting gameplay.
War, war just isn't what it used to be. Terrorists and madmen have created a whole new world disorder.
Soviet Strike was released for the PlayStation in 1996 and was the fourth entry in EA's Strike series. As I said before, I never got to play Urban or Jungle Strike, so I can't really give you a good, honest review. Soviet Strike takes the series leap into the 32-bit era, delivering more advanced visuals, deeper missions, and a more cinematic experience. I really appreciate the backstory and videos in the game. I mean, what's cooler than being part of a secret military branch, doing some Black Ops missions only to be declared rogue if you die or get captured? The game really gets you engrossed into the action with the video briefings before you lift off and as you're in the middle of the action. Your covert team includes General Earl. He's a little grumpy and I don't think he's too helpful, but he's trying. Hack, a computer expert with who's your best friend when it comes to mission updates and important details you need to know. He will break in via video and give you mission updates and critical information along with locations of places and people you need to go get and find. You're joined sometimes in the cockpit by your co-pilot Nick Arnold, which I'll explain later that he likes to leave you by yourself a lot. Completing a successful mission will be followed up by Andrea, who will break in with a news report explaining what happened. She also works covertly on your team, so the news report will show that you were not there. The game is set during a fictional post-Cold War conflict with players tasked with dismantling a rogue Soviet faction run by KGB, dictators, and even ex-scientists. The narrative is delivered through live-action cutscenes and detailed mission briefings. I feel Soviet Strike is a major improvement over Desert Strike, but it still retains most of its same button layout. The one thing I do love is the addition of strafing movements, making it a lot easier to avoid incoming fire. Just like one of my favorite movies, when it gets a little hairy in there, you're going to need to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge your way through 5 massive levels filled with a lot of stuff to do. Each level has you destroying enemy forces, structures, and rescuing prisoners of war, and even possibly the rescue of Boris Yeltsin. Spoiler alert. Soviet Strike adds the ability to drop off your co-pilot and others to help you along the way. If you remember me talking about Nick, he can be dropped off to a bulldozer, snowmobile, and much more to help you along your way. He can even be dropped off to plant some explosives and do other mission-critical items. My honest opinion is he's a little annoying as he always needs your help and rescuing quite often, but when he's not in danger, sit back and watch the destruction. He really has a no F's given attitude and is definitely focused on the mission at hand and helping you out. Soviet Strike's levels will take you from the mountainous regions of the Crimean countryside to the Caspian Sea and even Transylvania and finally Moscow. One of the best missions, at least in my opinion, has you working with guerrilla fighters and their vehicles and equipment to fight off a huge Soviet force in the desert. During the mission, you'll have to trigger rock slides to block valleys and drop off rebel leaders to have them assist you with their troops. You got to be careful though, this is an ammunition-heavy mission and there are little to no POWs or soldiers to pick up and drop off to build those armor levels back up. Soviet Strike showcases impressive visuals for its time with fully 3D environments that add depth to the game world. The detailed terrain, explosions, and helicopter models demonstrate the leap in superior graphics that the PlayStation added over the Super Nintendo and Desert Strike. The sound design is excellent with a cinematic score that heightens the tension and excitement. Helicopter sound effects, radio chatter, and explosive effects all contribute to the immersive atmosphere. And you definitely have to keep your ears pierced and watch out for some pretty funny stuff along the way. My final thoughts on this game is I think it is definitely worth adding to your collection. With its multiple missions and branching objectives, Soviet Strike offers decent replay value. However, its high difficulty and lack of save points within missions can make it a pretty tough game, but successfully completing that game is highly rewarding. I feel it is a very solid entry in the Strike franchise, and I feel with the added characters, the in game movie sequences, and the mission set, it is a super fun way to kick some communist butt. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this short review of Soviet Strike for the PlayStation. Make sure to check us out for more reviews on YouTube. We also have a weekly podcast on all major platforms, as well as video format on Spotify and YouTube. If you want some Wired Nerdy gear or you need a cup of joe or a warm sweater, check out our Wired Nerdy store. The link is in the comments below. Thank you again and come back for Nuclear Strike soon.